One of the widely debated and discussed issues under the criminal justice system is the capital punishment, or commonly known as death penalty. Even after several protests since ages, this practice is still very much prevalent. From boiling, burning and sawing the accused alive, to even feeding them to animals in the ancient times, to stoning, poisoning and hanging in the more recent times, death penalty is carried out in various ways. What's saddening are the painful methods used by different countries today to give a death sentence, which at times is more gruesome than the heinous acts of crimes themselves. Hi everyone, this is Team Infobook, and today we will do a roundup on the gruesome execution methods of capital punishments used by different countries and make an effort to appeal against this inhuman practice, however justified it may be. The most common method authorized by law is hanging, with more than 60 countries authorizing this practice, including India, Japan, Pakistan and Singapore. In this method, the prisoner is made to stand on an object which is then thrust away, leaving them to die by strangulation, giving them a slow and painful death. This method was used by the Nazis and was the most common form used before the 1850s. Shooting by firing squad. The firing squad is considered by many to be the most honorable method of execution, and for that very reason, it isn't used on war criminals. While this method varies widely from country to country, the condemned is generally blindfolded and restrained. A group of men then fire a single bullet into the heart of the prisoner. In some cases, one of the shooters is given a blank so that afterwards he feels lesser guilt. None of the shooters know who has a blank, or in fact, if any of them do. Shooting. In Soviet Russia, a single bullet to the back of the head was the most frequently used method of execution for military and non-military masses alike. This is still the main method of execution in communist China, though the gunshot can either be to the neck or the head. In the past, the Chinese government would ask the family of the executed person to pay the price of the bullet. In Taiwan, the prisoner is first injected with a strong anesthetic to render him senseless, and then a bullet is fired into his heart. Beheading. While many nations allow beheading by law, Saudi Arabia is the country that uses it most often. The sentence is normally carried out on a Friday night in public outside the main mosque of the city after prayers. The penalty can be handed for rape, murder, drug-related crimes, and apostasy, rejection of religious beliefs. Saudi Arabia frequently comes under fire from international agencies because of the fact that they continue to pass this sentence on to minors. Saudi Arabian officials state that they are not in breach of international law because the sentence is not carried out until the child has reached the age of 18. Lethal injection. Though the end result is same in all methods of execution, lethal injection is often viewed as the least cruel. Injecting a fatal dose of drugs into a death row inmate has become the primary method of execution in United States. However, due to controversies associated with supplying states with lethal drugs, pharmaceutical companies have banned the sale of their drugs for lethal usage. To fill in the void, states have relied on compounding pharmacies to provide cocktail drugs, but this has proven to be unreliable in recent executions. Stoning. Stoning to death is when a person's movement are restricted and an organized group throws stones at them until dead. Under Islamic Sharia law, stoning is an acceptable method of execution and is used in many Islamic nations. In Iran, stoning is sanctioned for adultery and other crimes. The most recent stoning in Iran was in 2007. Such kind of execution has been carried out in Afghanistan, Nigeria, Iran, Pakistan, Sudan, Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates in the recent years, according to the International Society of Human Rights. Gas chamber. In 1924, the use of cyanide gas was introduced as a more human way of executing convicts. For execution by this method, the condemned person is strapped to a chair in an airtight chamber. Below the chair rests a pail of sulfuric acid. The warden then gives a signal to the executioner, who flicks a lever that releases crystals of sodium cyanide into the pail. This causes a chemical reaction that releases hydrogen cyanide gas, which causes death. Today, 5 states in the US authorize lethal gas as a method of execution, but all have lethal injection as an alternative method. Electrocution. The United States is the only country to exercise capital punishment using electrocution. Robert Gleason Jr., 42, convicted of murdering 2 inmates on separate occasions, was executed using electric chair in Virginia in Jan 2013. Previous electric chair executions had sparked widespread debate and outrage. In 1997, convicted murderer Pedro Medina was executed by the electric chair in Florida. His head burst into flames during this procedure. Also in Florida in 1999, convicted murderer Alan Lee Davis was executed in an electric chair. Photos of his bloodied face appeared online later, which didn't go well with a major section of the society. Along with these authorized methods, there has been some strange executions as well. In 2015, members of Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant executed men who were accused of homosexuality by pushing them off towers. The method of execution for Maldives is still unknown, and Sudan uses a method which calls for retributive sentences to be carried out in the same manner in which the offender caused death. All said and done, no one is entitled to the right of taking away someone's life, neither the offender nor the executioner. This world needs peace and unity in the face of inhuman atrocities, and an eye for an eye can never be the solution. On a hopeful note, I would conclude this video. Please get back with your thoughts on it by commenting below. Do share the word across and subscribe in case you haven't yet. Thank you for watching.